Welcome back, wonderful humans. I'm Danielle and I currently live alone and I'm trying to shift towards healthy meals whilst remaining on a budget. Here's what I ended up eating this week. On Saturday, I completely skipped breakfast, as seems to be the trend for Saturdays. And I ended up going to Morrison's for lunch and got one of their large salads. As you can see here, I have a bit of a nightmare to open it. And it's safe to say, as soon as I got home, I ended up having to put my jeans into the wash because I ended up with some of that sauce all over my jeans. I had a mixture of pasta salads in there, a bit of coleslaw, some egg, and some other bits as well. Had to take a bit of a guess at the calories there. But then for dinner, as you might have seen, I had a Spar Too Good to Go bag. If not, I'll pop the card somewhere up in the corner. And it had inside a cheese and onion slice and a attack snack. So I had the very grown up, mature dinner of those two items for the Saturday. For Sunday, I did make sure I had some breakfast and I decided to obviously treat myself with it being a Sunday and being able to take a bit more time to do it. So I did some scrambled egg with some smoked ham put through it, bit of sriracha on top, and that was all just topped onto some toast as well. One of the seeded whole grain ones that I tend to get from Lidl. Then in the afternoon, I ended up having some snacks. You'll see this pot or a few similar images a few times because, unsurprisingly, I didn't remember to take a video of some Haribo Star Mix every time I had some out of this pot. And it's safe to say I still have a lot of it left as well. But then for dinner for Sunday, I just decided to take some chicken out of the freezer and do some chicken fajitas using up one of the seasoning mixes that I had in the cupboard that I wanted to sort of get gone so I could then just go to do my own blends in the future. And I did those with some mini wraps as well. On Monday, it's another week where I was working early. So I just had some toast for Monday's morning. I was doing a bit of a longer shift at work. I did 8 until 5. I decided to do an extra half an hour of overtime. I think that's a sensible amount of overtime to do. But that kept me going through until lunch where I ended up having all of this cold pressed juice, which is obviously a lot of sugar. And then I just finished off some of that smoked ham from the day before when I'd got that in a too good to go bag, so I wanted to make sure I used it before it started to turn. And somewhere along the lines as well for my lunch, so I think it might have ended up being more of a snack in the afternoon, to be honest. I had some more Haribo as well. And then for my dinner, I ended up just making something super simple again. And I put some root veg, some parsnip potato, and carrots into the air fryer and added some seasoned chicken into there later as well. And then just topped it with a little bit of vegetable gravy. I'm sure you all know the weather's starting to turn, and I definitely appreciated something warm and comforting. But whilst that had been doing, I also made some banana sort of bread muffins with some chocolate chips in it, so I had one of those in the evening whilst it was still warm and lovely and fresh as well. Then you're going to see a repeating trend now throughout the rest of this week because for breakfast I had one of those muffins. I figured that they'd be super filling and nutritious and just sort of give me a nice little pick me up. It's obviously a bit different to having toast all the time as well, meaning that I'd have the option to have some form of bread for sort of a lunch if I wanted. But for morning snacks, I actually made myself a coffee. I was just so tired this day. And there's no other way around it. So I had one of my Christmas pudding beanie coffee and then some fridge raiders as well. But then for some afternoon snacks, I actually had a little bit of licorice that I had. I still have some of that same bag that I opened last week, or maybe even the week before. Still had some of that left. So I had some of those, and I think with some normal Haribo as well. Then for my dinner, I continued the trend of actually attempting to do some sort of cooking, but using things up. So I'd got one of these pucker pies from Iceland for 50p. I decided obviously I wanted to use it. I'd put one in the freezer and kept one out. So I just did that with some gravy and then a lot of broccoli as well. I only put it onto a small plate, so it wasn't actually perhaps as much as it looked. I didn't want to put it onto a large plate and regret it. For breakfast for Wednesday, as you probably expected, it was just another one of those muffins. Like I said, I made 6 of them in total, so they kept me going throughout all of my breakfasts for the week. But then for lunch, I was just in sort of a bit of a mood really. So I decided that I was going to take the time to do some toast, put some avocado on there, and fry up some eggs. I only get half an hour for my lunch at work, but I decided I was going to find the time regardless. Then in the afternoon, again, I just had some more Haribo. It was just one of those days, to be honest. It's been one of those work weeks, and I'm pleased that I did have that box of Haribo to open and snack on to feel away the pain. So then for dinner, continuing with that, I just had no energy. I did some of those mini wraps and I put some peanut butter and chocolate in there and melted it down. So that was a nice gooey mix in the middle. For Thursday's breakfast, I again just had another one of those muffins. I actually find that sometimes these tend to get a little bit better the further on after they've been made, obviously up until a certain point. I find that sort of when you're 4 or 5 days in, they're still super wonderful and fresh and feeling soft and squishy as well. Then for lunch, I just ended up having some of the sort of the pre-made, bought chicken that I get. I just had a portion of that. I think it was about 80 grams because I'd been making some of my dinner whilst I was doing it. So afternoon snacks, I just grabbed some more refrigerators in my 15-minute break. So quite quite protein heavy, I suppose, and quite chicken heavy. Then I also grabbed some Star Mix, and I was sneakily eating those in between work calls as well. But that's all because during the day, like I said, during my lunch break, I had been preparing for dinner, and that was putting some things into the slow cooker to be able to make soup in the evening. So this is a potato, parsnip, carrot, and leek soup, along with some milk and some natural yogurt mixed in, natural Greek yogurt, I think it was, mixed in there as well, and obviously topped with some basil leaves to pretend to be fancy. And then for the evening, I had some of my goo cheesecakes. I had one of the banoffee ones because, as I mentioned when I purchased them, again, if you didn't see it when I purchased them, I'll leave the card somewhere up above. I need to get something that I can put pate in. So I decided it was time to eat one. Terrible pain to have to eat something right just to get to the packaging sort of container that I want. But for Friday's breakfast, I had another one of those muffins as well. Like I say, I think I have one left at this point, and that'll be probably what you'll see when I do my video for next week for Saturday's breakfast. And then for lunch, I had a mixture of some toast and some more of that pre-bought chicken slices. Felt that that would be a nice little balance. I thought about doing a chicken sandwich with them, but I wanted toast. I just wanted something that was warm and a bit crunchier, so I did that instead. Then for some more afternoon snacks, when it was my afternoon break, I had some more Haribo again. And like I said, I have so much of this box left that you'll probably be seeing it on and off throughout. I'll try and do a bit of different footage for you though for the next couple of weeks. Don't worry. But then for dinner, I had some leftover soup. I didn't there's it's so difficult to only do one portion of soup when you make it, so it's perhaps no surprise that I had some left. And then I had the other one of those banoffee goos as well. Just super tasty, obviously high in calories, but you know what? I love cheesecake. This was at least a nice, sensible, controlled portion amount. So, as always, thanks so much for taking the time to watch. And if you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing. And I'll see you again soon for the next one.